The glass slipped from my hand and shattered across the ballroom floor, and in the same breath, my 4-year-old Sophia took off running. Tiny red dress, flying curls, bouncing straight toward a man in a wheelchair, parked by the windows, like a ghost, who wasn't sure he was allowed inside the living. "Daddy," she said, clear and simple, and the whole room froze because sometimes life doesn't whisper, it announces you to yourself. I knew that silhouette even before I saw his eyes. Jonathan Reed, the man who vanished, the man who once loved me like the world had time, the man who never knew he had a daughter. I could feel the stares, feel the whispers, feel my past and my present, colliding in a way that made my knees go weak. "Please," he said, when my hand reached for Sophia, "don't take her yet." We stepped outside to the terrace where the wind off the water stung my face awake, and the music inside became muffled, and he started with the part. He should have told me 5 years ago. I left because my father was dying. There were ugly deals I didn't want touching you. I told myself I was protecting us, but really I was a coward. I said the thing I had to say, calm, because I'd practiced it, angry, because I'd earned it. I called, I begged, I tried the office and the lawyers and your personal line, then I stopped, because pride is heavy and rent is due. He nodded like the words were bricks he deserved to carry. Then came the second blow. 2 years ago, I fell asleep at the wheel after a meeting. I woke up to doctors saying permanent. I woke up to a board saying we need someone who can be in the room. I sold the penthouse, I learned how to transfer from bed to chair, and somewhere in that long hallway called rehab, I learned what matters. Inside me, something hard cracked, not forgiveness yet, but recognition. The way pain teaches you a language you never wanted to learn. Then Sophia. God bless her timing, lifted her head from his chest and said, "Daddy, do you like pancakes? Because I do. Blueberry is for fancy days." Jonathan smiled like sunlight found him after a long storm. "I can learn pancakes," he said. "I can learn anything." We tried to make it back to normal, but you know how crowds are, they stitch your story for you, even while you're still bleeding. And that night as we left, my phone buzzed with a number I used to know by heart. "Can I come by tomorrow just for breakfast, just to listen?" I stared at the message until my heart stopped pounding. Then I typed what felt true. 9 a.m. Bring blueberries if you want to impress my girl. He showed up with daisies that looked like apologies, and a stuffed rabbit, Sophia named Rosie, on the spot. And he wheeled into our little apartment like it was a cathedral, hands shaking, voice careful. And he didn't try to be impressive or tragic, he was just there. Sophia asked the question adults are too scared to touch. "Why don't your legs work?" "Daddy," and he said it clean. "I got hurt, my body doesn't remember walking, but the important parts still work. Hugs, stories, bad jokes, pancakes if you help me." And she nodded like a judge delivering a verdict. Then the important parts still work. When she ran off to grab her favorite book, I asked the other question. "Are you here because of guilt or because you want to be her father?" And he took a breath that looked like it cost him and said, "Both. I'm guilty, and I'm sure down to the bone I won't disappear again." So we made rules you can hold in your hands. Tuesdays for dinner, Fridays for stories, Sundays for the park. No promises we can't keep, no big steps without 5 small ones landing first. Sophia, first always. We tested our little family in public at the Central Park Zoo, where strangers write headlines with their eyes, a black woman, a white man in a chair, a little girl who carries both of us in her face, and yeah, you feel it. The curiosity, the kindness, that's really pity, the pity that hides as curiosity. And Jonathan leaned in and said, "Let them try to guess we got penguins to meet." Sophia pressed her nose to the glass and giggled. Daddy, that one slides like you when you move from the chair to the car, and a little boy asked 1,000 questions. Can you go fast? Can you spin? Is your chair a robot? And Jonathan showed him a careful spin like joy disguised as physics. Curiosity is a compliment, kid, he said. And the mother apologized and he waved it off. We don't hush questions in this family. Between the sea lions and cotton candy, I watched my daughter claim her father, and my pride loosen its fist, because it's hard to keep a wall up when a 4-year-old is building a bridge right through the middle of it. Then came the part that felt like stepping off a cliff and hoping there's a bridge under the fog. Jonathan asked if I'd consider working with him, not for him, with him at the consulting company he built, in a quiet apartment with grit and a laptop. And the proposal was generous and specific. Equal partnership, profit sharing, 6 months severance if it goes sideways, clear boundaries about work hours and family hours, no overlap without consent. And I said yes, because women are allowed to say yes to stability. We've earned with one condition. If this hurts, Sophia, we pivot, no ego, no excuses. The office was small with a sliver of harbor view. You only get when you're clever about rent. Our desks faced each other like a promise, and in the corner we put a little space for Sophia to do homework, which became the heart of the room. We won accounts. We had no business winning. We ate too many takeout noodles. We argued like grown-ups who know respect is a tool, not a trophy. And one afternoon, Sophia burst in and announced, "There's a daddy-daughter dance at school. Can you come?" And I saw Jonathan's bravery flicker with fear. What if the kids stare? What if the parents whisper? What if she feels small? Later, I told him what her teacher told me. Your daughter raised her hand and asked if there's a ramp so her dad can come in the front door like everyone else. Then she explained that her dad spins faster than anyone and gives the best hugs in the whole school. He covered his face and didn't hide the tears. I love when you say our daughter, he whispered. And I realized that's what we'd become, not just me and him, but us. And that night, after dishes and math problems and too many giggles, he sat on my couch and said the thing we'd been circling. I'm in love with you. I tried to wait to be only a good father and a better partner at work. But I am, and I don't want to pretend. And I said the thing my heart had been carrying quietly. I love you too. I'm scared. But I'm here, and from the bedroom came the tiny voice, you can't script, mommy, daddy, I can't sleep. And we laughed because life will always interrupt your big speeches with a small need that reminds you what this is for. The last test came wearing pearls and regret. Jonathan's mother, Catherine, who had handled the accident badly, and the wheelchair worse, asked to meet. And she started with the words that cost the most. I was wrong. I was scared of the wrong things. I want to learn. If you'll let me, and Sophia showed her Rosie and how rabbits prefer syrup to honey. And somewhere between the salad and dessert, I watched an old story turn a corner. After dinner under harbor lights, Jonathan stopped. His chair reached into his jacket, opened a velvet box that looked like a door, and said, I don't want to pretend this is temporary. I love you, I love her, I love waking up to problems that are ours. Will you marry me? And I said yes. Before my brain could talk my heart into being careful. And Sophia cheered like we'd won a championship. He asked me first, she said. I told him only if he reads every night and teaches me how to ride a bike. And he promised, and he kept it. 1 year later, we stood in a little church with string lights in the garden and vows that were maps, no poetry, for show. Just simple promises. Tell the truth, fast, never make family decisions alone, choose us on boring Tuesdays and loud Fridays, keep Sophia first, even when it's inconvenient. And Jonathan took careful steps with forearm crutches because he wanted to meet me halfway, and the kiss was clumsy and perfect, and ours. The reception wasn't glamorous, it was real. Paper plates laughing until you snort Mia directing a father-daughter dance from the captain's seat of his lap clients, who had become family. A mother-in-law who didn't miss it this time, and a future that felt like a porch light. We had finally switched on. That's the win, if you're asking me. Not the ring, not the revenge on people who doubted us, not the headlines about the fallen CEO who stood long enough to say, "I do." The win is the ordinary Tuesday that used to feel impossible. The messy kitchen after pancake experiments. The school ramp your kid asked for because she knows love doesn't sneak in the side door. The way forgiveness becomes a practice instead of a performance. And look, I know some of you are already typing. He left, he hurt you, and a ring doesn't erase a scar. And you're right, scars don't vanish. They just stop being the first thing you see in the mirror. And some of you are thinking, disability shouldn't have to audition for acceptance. And you're right there too, we didn't overcome a wheelchair. We learned to stop treating it like a plot twist and start treating it like part of his name. So tell me this in the comments. Where's the line between accountability and grace? Who gets to decide when a second chance has been earned? The person who broke the thing? The people who bled? Or the crowd that loves a tidy ending? And if your kid ran across a ballroom and called a stranger, "Daddy," would you follow your pride or your child's heartbeat? You know what I mean? Yeah, that happened. And if this story hits something in you, the unfair part, the brave part, the part that wants real over perfect, say your piece down there, argue if you need to, and share the moment you chose a Tuesday that finally felt like home.